Good morning, evening, afternoon, XIers. Masati here. Welcome to Moss on Sunday. It's going to be a great show, guys. It's kind of crazy. This is what the world is coming to. This Moss on Sunday. It's Twisted Truths, navigating the maze of gaslighting and hypocrisy. This is a Life Explained section of the Masati on Sunday show. So welcome a lot of individuals here as I read the comments. And by the way, as I'm speaking on as I'm speaking on the subject, Life Explained here, Twisted Truths, reading your comments as well. Okay, that's why it's so nice. It's interactive in a lot of ways. One, we're communicating physically, and two, what makes this show so important. Just give me 1 second. Oh, sorry, guys. Some technical issues there. My camera's gonna shut down here. All right, but what makes this show so important is that it's an experiential show. It's a show about frequencies. Frequencies are the latest thing to help you transform. Before it was just sheer grit, right? Sheer grit or having blind faith. Then came psychology, where it's like it's your mental state. We figured out it's the mental state, it's your mental mind, and so on. That really makes life change. But then, just like Newtonian physics, there's a lot of unanswered situations, possibilities. A lot of things didn't work, and now we're getting into the level of frequencies or the level of your dimensional self. Now, there's a lot of quantum science behind your dimensional self, altered realities, multidimensional states, multi-dimensional versions of you. There's a billion versions of you and all that. That's what exponential intelligence is, the science of consciousness, or those multidimensional states that you can be in, which is really, really cool. So it's really advanced technology. Some of the science, the conventional science has to catch up to it. We're light years ahead of, say, the conventional science, and that's why it blows people's mind on how transformative. And it's not just about your life transformation; it's changing, say, the global setting for humanity. That's how expansive it is. So for you all who've seen those massive changes, and you've seen, say, for example, your loved ones change as you change, and then you see your company change as you change, that's where it all is, right? That's physical, solid proof that frequencies are the way to go. Frequencies are the way to transform your life, transform the world into a better world, better possibilities. So we can actually get into the possibilities of what humans are actually created for or designed for. So comment in, because I know there's always a there's always a lot of new people coming in. It's like, who's this guy? Masati. Um, uh, Comment in on those who've seen those changes, those level of changes. So amazing meditation. Oh, you guys are talking about the human update. Yeah, it's very, very interesting, right? On how fast you can change. Again, transforming lives in just literally 18 days, right? Who's heard of that? Usually the transformations are not just like minor transformations. These are like decade-long transformations. That's the cool thing about using frequencies or becoming exponentially intelligent. You're changing a state, a dimension of self. You're changing your dimension of how you create yourself, not your mental state. That takes a long time. That could take decades or maybe lifetimes for you. It doesn't work. We don't have time for that. Society doesn't have time for that. We need to change rapidly. Best way to do that, again, is changing your dimensional state by becoming exponentially intelligent. So that's where the I was reading this comment, like the 100 monkey aspect. Absolutely, as you change, all the other humans around you go, shit, that's a better way of living. I want to do that. Because today's society, we think, well, if I make money, then I'll be happy. And then people make money and they're not happy. And then people go, well, I'll go spiritual. right? And I'll be happy. And then they go spiritual and they're not happy. It's like, what the hell's going on, right? Nobody can find the solution because the solution is right under your nose. It's about frequencies. It's what you got to do, right? It's about the frequencies. Nature is always into frequencies. Nature is always in tune. Nature is always in the best aspect. It's in the best crossroads of space and time. Right? And that's how you change your life. Some of you go, well, what the hell does that have to do with it? Well, I'm going to be talking about this on the Twisted Truths here, navigating the maze of gaslighting and hypocrisy. Have you noticed how much gaslighting and hypocrisy has been going on throughout the centuries, and especially as of late? Why is a lot of things showing up, whether it's on media, at government levels, at the deep state level, at your personal level? A lot of it's happening, right? And the reason why we're talking about this is because the truth is coming out, whether you like it or not. Transparency, it's the age of transparency, and we see it all around you, right? And there's certain situations. So the universe dictates that this is the age of transparency. Everything has to become efficient so we can evolve to a higher level of understanding of who we are. But what happens is humans are kind of dumb, right? We don't get the underlying concept on why transparency is important. So what we do is, well, in this day and age, everybody has to know everything about everybody and everything except themselves, which is kind of, well, Hippocratic, right? You want to know everything about everybody, but then you want to keep your stuff personal. The government wants to know everything about you, but then again, what do? Everything's a secret, right? So it's a one-way system. In the universe, it's not a one-way system. It doesn't work that way. It has to be a two-way system. It has to go back and forth. And that's where states of being or states of consciousness rise. Otherwise, we deteriorate our level of consciousness. Right? And although we might not go down in consciousness, because once you're at a level of conscious, you really don't go down. However, we don't have possibilities to ascend into the consciousness that's available for us, that's dropping down on us all the time. By the way, expanding every minute, every second of the day, you can tap into another higher realm of yourself. Transformation. If you look at nature, that's how nature keeps itself, say, alive, keeps itself timeless. It's not time bound like humanity. Look at any cities. You can see how, what age they were created or they were built. Again, those are all time bound. You can, nature is timeless. You can't really tell if it was a million years ago or a million years in the future. Again, it's always at its best possible self, right? Timeless. And that's what a deep level, and I know I'm jumping in really, really deep, but I just want to get you into the deep concepts of hypocrisy and gaslighting. Okay, so we can use it at a frequency level, and then we'll get into the, the, I don't know, the hypocrisy and the gaslighting that most people are familiar with. But again, I want to get to the top level, the frequency level, on why hypocrisy and gaslighting is apparent for us. Right? So back to my explanation. Again, we got transparency. We want timelessness, but humans are time bound. We get stuck in a moment of time. We get stuck, say, in an experience that we've had. We get stuck in, say, something that tragically happened to us, right? We get stuck in that moment of time. We can't go forward, being Hippocratic about it. And then we gaslight because we can't figure out how to move forward. Say that you've gotten abused, right? Back in the day, you've gotten shortchanged. You didn't have the best life. Or say it's the total opposite. You had the best life. Everything was perfect. Everything, couldn't be better. Either way, it doesn't really matter. You're living from the past, right? Your future self, you're living from the past. Hence, you're Hippocratic, right? And that's where the gaslighting, again, hypocrisy, starts to, say, become a downward trend for us. We're not staying in moments of time and space. And since we can't let go of those moments of time and space, and I'll give you some other examples, but since we can't let go of those moments of time and space, what will happen for us is we'll start to create excuses. We'll start to create filters. We'll start to hold on to that identity of who we are. Okay? So let me give you some physical examples for you, especially for those people who are new. But for those who are getting into the XI science, congratulations, again, years ahead. This is what science will come up with, say maybe in about 10 or 15 years. They go, shit, that guy Masati, he was right. So, but we got to give science time to catch up. So these are some examples of being Hippocratic at a very frequency level. Okay, you've got abused, totally abused. You got sexually abused when you were a child. Okay? A lot of people, unfortunately, happens, right? You got sexually abused, you got distorted. So, your parents got divorced, whatever. You can't let go of that time. So what happens is that you're stuck in that moment of time, right? And then you can't go forward in time. You're living that moment of time through your life. So you never really grow. Right? So in that situation, what happens in that situation is when you don't grow like that, you start to create excuses on why you should hold on to the filters that you do, why you should have the life of what you had, say, when you were 12 or 13. Although you're in your 40s and 50s and 60s, you're still living this life here. Right? That's becoming, again, so you start to gaslight. You start to create excuses or justify your existence here. Again, gaslighting. It's like, gosh, because you really do need to justify your existence here on why you are here. Right? And then some people go, they're victims. They're not worthy of living, so they justify in other ways. But either way, you start to justify things that aren't true, right? And then you become Hippocratic about it. Right? It's like, well, I want this fantastic life, but I'm running this victim pattern over here. So again, it becomes a vicious cycle for you. Right? It's all about space and time. Again, it's all about frequencies, helping you release that. Another version, which a lot of companies get into, and I help a lot of CEOs, a lot of companies transform, is like, say this company made this great invention or great concept, or say that you're highly intelligent, right? Say that you're a doctor, you're in a medical community. I mean, the medical knowledge hasn't changed for, gosh, over 100 years. They're still using that same old medical knowledge from 100 years ago. The basis of it, the structure, the infrastructure, that's old. A lot of those techniques came out from the 1700s, maybe 1600s, 1700s, 1800s. Not much has changed. So we hold on to that knowledge and we can't move forward, right? So whether, again, you created something new, whether you created something new and you know, you've made a lot of money, you made a lot of success, you have a knowledge, you have a base of intelligence that you hold on to, and anything new you don't want because it distorts your identity. Same as being victimized. It's the same exact pattern, maybe the opposite sides of the spectrum. One you're a victim, one you're a conqueror, but either way, your identity is based on, say, a time-bound event. That's really the key. And this is where gaslighting and becoming a hypocrite starts to come into play. Look at all those individuals, a lot of those leaders, right? Government mechanisms, political leaders, corporate leaders, right? Religious leaders, they hold on to this identity. Anything that goes beyond that identity or beyond that knowledge, what do? They destroy, right? They keep away. They warn you about it, which is really, really sad. Right. So let's get into the physical mechanics now that I've set the frequencies behind it for you straight, because that's what we need. We need to change us at the frequency level. Again, if you're new, guys, and you're not understanding what the hell I'm saying, fantastic. That's really good, because what you're trying to do, again, be Hippocratic. Right? Simple. Right? What you're doing is like, well, I don't understand it. Again, you don't understand it, but you want to improve yourself. How does that work? If your life is not going the way it should be, and you want to expand your knowledge, right? Not expand your knowledge. Okay, that's an error there. You want to expand who you are. That's why you gain knowledge. But who you are stays the same. You have more knowledge, right? That knowledge doesn't turn into wisdom for you. It's not applicable, right? You don't become the knowledge. You just keep it up here, right? You become Hippocratic about it. It's like, well, I don't understand this stuff, so I'm gonna, turn it off or not listen to this guy. Well, again, then you stay the same, and then you just pull in information that's like very similar to you that you resonate with. Well, if you're resonating with knowledge or information that's at the same level as you are, and it's like, oh gosh, that's me. It feels like me. Well, just think, if it feels like you, it's probably at the same level of frequencies, and you're not going to change. You have to have a higher level of frequency to understand something, or even a lower level of frequency to break you out of your, your pattern. Either way, you have to move to a knowledge or information base, or a new set of rules or a new set of emotions, again, that break you free. And this is what we do on the human update, the 18 days. And that's why people get such fantastic results way beyond anything that they've done before. Okay. All right. So let's get into the nitty gritty of this. I've got a hell of a lot of notes, and I want to cover this as fast as we can. Examples of gaslighting. Okay. For those who don't know exactly what gaslighting is about, I'm just going to move my screen over so I can still see somebody's talking about COVID. Yep. Exactly. Um, so gaslighting, just examples of gaslighting, is like lying and contradicting what the victim knows to be true, making the victim feel like they're crazy or overreacting, making the victim doubt their memory and perception, manipulating the victim's environment to make them question their reality. Okay. So this is where a lot of people go, it's like, gosh, I just, it's like you say something like that, and the person, again, that's gaslighting, that's stuck in their pattern, right? They're stuck in a certain frequency. It's like they can't move beyond that frequency. They won't grow, they won't expand. And you see these people, right? They won't grow, they don't expand, they don't do anything, and it's just like, gosh, and then you're the problem. How many people have gotten into that space, especially in familial situations or spousal situations, right? You change. Many people who've done the human update, right, or the total human reset, right? Notice how you've changed so much, and then your spouse or your family or even your children, whoever, they stay the same, and then what do? It's you that is the problem, right? It's you that has the problem because you're expanding. Again, people who are stuck, people who gaslight, they don't want to move away from their situations. So whether it's people, whether it's countries, whether it's religions, whatever it is, whether it's science, they're still stuck in their paradigm. Okay? All right. So that's gaslighting. I just want to define hypocrisy. It's the practice of claiming to have moral standards or beliefs to which one's own behavior does not conform. Basically, it's like, gosh, you know what? I'm all in for peace. I'm all in for, expanding humanity. I'm all in for, I don't know, saving the world, whatever it is. But you know what? I want to let other people do it. I don't want to change my internal self. That's the problem. Most individuals, especially those individuals, have you ever heard people go, well, the government should do something about that, right? Or somebody else should do something about what the problem I'm seeing. It's like, I'm fine. Right? There's a lot of people there, for example, and I'm going to get into some touchy subjects. Some of you might hate me. I'm just giving you a heads up. It's totally cool. It's totally cool. You get some of you might get really, really offensive. I did this piece on Andrew Huberman. And this person's like, gosh, Moss, I really liked you a lot until you did this piece on Andrew Huberman. Why are you picking on him? Like, no, I wasn't picking on him. I just read the guy and told you basically, told it's a really good short synopsis of Andrew Huberman and situation that he's gotten into. I basically read the person, and so not to criticize him. He's got great knowledge. He's got great, say, scientific knowledge. He's got great ways to, say, help improve your life. Really, really fantastic. But the frequencies that run underneath him, that's what I was reading. For you XI people who are exponentially intelligent, you'll go, oh, yeah, that's why he's running the way he's running. When you start to learn people's patterns, you start to adapt and transform into a better version of who you are. So it's not about cutting down the other person. You just had certain situations, certain life experiences that we can't all learn from. That's really the key. That's becoming exponentially intelligent. But then this person goes, gosh, you know what? You're destroying him. He's got great knowledge. That's not the point. I'm just giving you the basis on why people think that he is, he has to date 5 women. I gave you the science behind it so you understand it. Okay? And it gives you, again, for the victims of Andrew Huberman, I don't call them victims, but they might, I mean, gosh, you start to see your patterns on why you're running that pattern. That is being gaslighting, by the way, right? You're a victim. You're a conqueror. You're an abuser. Those are all gaslighting patterns, by the way. You have to stay this identity, and you don't want to transform any other way, right? You're a conqueror, you're a winner, you're this. That's all gaslighting, by the way. That's all being Hippocratic, because your identity has to stay that same exact self throughout your whole life. No, you're a dynamic being. Simple as that. You're a dynamic being, and then any pattern that you use, whether you're a winner, you're a loser, you're all those possibilities. Okay, let me just break it down just a bit more. Okay, say that you're always running a winner. You're a gladiator, right? You're this, and that's the only mindset. You have morning meditations, morning routines, evening routines, whatever it is, and you're that specific winner. Okay, you've got that winning mindset. All right. So when you raise kids like that, they can't handle failure. That's why it's so important. Again, being Hippocratic at a frequency level. Okay. Now, being Hippocratic at a physical level, and there's so many podcasts on that, but I'm giving you the underlying frequency behind it, right? But anyway, when you raise your kids, honey, you're just so perfect. You're so smart. You're the smartest thing ever. They can't handle being rejected. They can't handle failing. They can't handle anything, and they'll cycle downwards. Simple as that. How many of you have raised kids like that? Or how many of you were raised like that and you can't handle rejection or failure? It doesn't allow you to expand who you are. Okay. So you have to handle both. That's my point. You can be a winner. You can know, and we'll go, just give me 1 second. We'll go deeper into that aspect. It's a really important aspect, by the way. Okay. So those people who get into mind states, they get into self-improvement seminars. They say, you're a winner. You're a winner. That's all you think about. Well, you're so stuck. You don't expand into yourself because you're too afraid of looking at your weaknesses. And then you get to a certain level and you just get stuck at that level. You can't go any higher. This is where you get super successful. This is where I help billionaires get to this level. They're at this level and they go, Moss, I feel like shit. This is where women, especially, they get to a higher level. They're highly successful. It's like, Moss, you know what? I don't feel like a woman anymore. Again, you start to become Hippocratic because your whole identity starts to say your identity of who you think you are, your facade that you created, changed. You, at a deeper level, didn't change. Again, hypocrisy at its deepest level, right? Your identity didn't change. Your circumstances did, right? That's the kind of frequencies, again, that we need to eliminate. Take a deep breath in. All right. So I want to get into, say, the mechanics of gaslighting for a little bit, understanding gaslighting through an XI point of view. I know I've jumped around, but it's actually good for you that way. Take a breath in again. And the reason why it's good, right, it's because it allows you to break free from a linear pattern of thinking. You yourself is a multidimensional being. Okay? When you're in the environment, you're sensing yourself from multiple layers of who you are. But you, at a conscious level, or at a mental level, societal level, teaching, learning level, we've all been raised that way. We have to break free from it. It's very linear. You do step one, you go to the next step. You complete step two, you go to the next step. We're multifaceted beings. That's being Hippocratic on who you really are. Again, you're a multifaceted being, but then you're in a linear state. It doesn't really work out that way, especially for kids. This is where their creativity gets lost, right? This is where you want to break free. This is where a lot of the psychedelics are coming in, by the way. People are becoming psychedelic because they want to expand into the possibilities of who they are, not just a linear version of who they are. That's just one version of what you could be, right? The physical version. You disavow all the other versions. Again, Hippocratic. And then your life doesn't go the way it does, and then you start to gaslight. Simple as that. Example of gaslighting here for you is at a personal level. I think I discussed that, where, you're stuck in a paradigm. Deep level examples of gaslighting at a personal level. Your parents ran the same pattern. as you did genetically. You running the same pattern as your parents. Okay. And then by the time you hit 25, you can't escape that. I'm sorry. By the time you hit about 18, you start to realize that by the time you hit 18, you start to realize, like, shit, I'm falling into my parents' traps. Right. And then this is where you push against your parents, right? You push against society and so on, like that. The reason why, because you didn't figure out how to move away from society's patterns, parents' patterns, and then by the time you hit 25, fuck, you're stuck. You're stuck, and then you're a hypocrite. Right? And then what you do is you gaslight. You make excuses for your life the way it is. No matter how good it's turned into, it's like, well, shit, I make a lot of money. I'm really successful. I'm a doctor and all that. Or, I'm a failure. Either way, my dad was drunk. Now I'm drunk too. Right? Again, that's being hypocritic at a very, very deep level. Obviously, people talk about being hypocritic or gaslighting, lying, at the very transient level or the superficial level. This isn't about that. You guys, there's enough information about that. I'm going to the deeper level. Okay. And some of it might actually hurt you, which is really good. That pain, allow it to heal you, because that's where you're hurt deep inside. It's not me. I'm just bringing out the hurt. That's forcing you to stay where you are. Okay. So if you're feeling something like this, take a breath in. All right. Other examples. Say you love someone, but this is superficial, but say you love someone, but you're only there because they can offer you something, right? Like financial stability, right? I hear a lot of people, men and women, it's like, Moss, you know what? I've grown out of this relationship, but I want to stay because of financial stability, which is totally, totally fine. But don't gaslight. Don't tell that person, right? That person's not feeling the love from you. Right? And then, no offense, especially women, it's like, gosh, I know people are going to hate me, but especially women, right? It's like, gosh, um, they're in a relationship because of the finances or because whatever, they really don't love that person. And then the guy goes, gosh, you don't love me. And then, the women get mad. It's like, what the fuck? I'm here, I'm slaving away, I'm offering you my body. Uh, but again, the deeper level reason is like, you're not loving that person. Right? You're just there for the finances. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. But again, be true to yourself. If you're actually true to who you are, you can actually rise above that and not play a victim and actually create, say, an abundant life for yourself so you can get out of the situation, that relationship situation that you're in. It's very, very simple. Yeah, I'm just reading Billy's. Hey, Billy. Um, yeah. So exactly. So again, I saw this movie. It's an old movie. How many of you seen the Dead Poet Society? Right. Right? That's being Hippocratic. Right. The kid in there that commits suicide. It's a beautiful movie, by the way. It's about Robin Williams. He expands this all boys school, this group of boys who are put into the system. Right, that system. We'll just use that example. The school is supposed to it's supposed to expand you. It's supposed to be help you become successful. It's very Hippocratic, though. Right? So what do? They conform you. It's all about conformity. Religions, governments, they want to make you a better person and a better individual. But what do? They take away your freedom of who you are and then put you into a conformity. They conform you into, say, again, this is the way you have to be to become successful. Right. So in this situation, the father wants this kid to be a doctor, and the kid doesn't want to be a doctor. He wants to be an actor. Right. So again, a lot of hypocrisy. One, on the schools path. Right. It's like, you got to be successful. This is what we've done. They base themselves on four pillars, which isn't true, by the way, or their definition of the four pillars isn't true. So the parent wants, they had a hard life, right? They want the kid to be a doctor so they can be successful, but that's not the kid's dream. Again, they're all Hippocratic at a very, very deep level. They want the best for that kid, but that's not the best for that child. So eventually, basically what happens is, like, the kid can't get to what he wants to be enacting, so he commits suicide. Again, that's Hippocratic. For the kid, committed suicide. Okay, so if you're suicidal, thinking that you're going to get away with it, again, it's just hypocrisy. Because when you say commit suicide, you get stuck in the paradigm. You cross over and you get stuck in that paradigm again, timeless, and you keep repeating that pattern. Okay, you wanted to be free. It didn't set you freedom. Again, hypocrisy. Right? The parents wanted the best life for that kid. Again, a kid might become successful. How many of you were forced into situations by your parents or your religions or society, and now you hate yourself for it? That's society's hypocrisy. Right? We want to take care of you, but then they do all this shit that isn't really, say, exactly expanding yourself. Right? So the Dead Poet Society, Robin Williams himself, again, very Hippocratic. Beautiful man. I felt so sad. Actually, I had tears. The movie, is a little tearjerker, but then, such a beautiful man with such unbelievable talent and abilities that commits suicide. How Hippocratic is that? It's like, holy shit, right? How can he be this person here that brings in light and joy and peace and love to millions and millions of people? Get it? And then deep inside, you're so you're so you're so you're so broken that you have to commit suicide. How many people are in that situation, by the way? Right? You're so extreme. This is the age of society, by the way, right? Where the extremes will pull you apart. Right? The differences in us, not color or creed or anything. The differences in us will start to separate us. Right? This is very important because it's transparency. Remember in the beginning, I said it's the age of transparency. That's what I'm talking about. Everything that you do, if you're becoming Hippocratic, if you're becoming a hypocrite, this is where I said most individuals see that they're hypocrites. They want one thing, but they do another. Right? They want the best for their bodies, but then they go abuse themselves, or they allow other people to abuse themselves. They go work out at a gym, or they eat really well, but then they allow their selves to get abused. All right, really kind of crazy, right? And again, these are really, really touchy subjects. Black Lives Matter. Might as well just you know go into the deep end, right? Because this is how we change society. Somebody's got to be talking about this shit. Because that's what the truth needs to come out. Let's talk about Black Lives Matter. There's many other things, but Black Lives Matter was not about saving Black lives, by the way. Totally, that's one aspect of being Hippocratic, right? Being a hypocrite. Black Lives Matter was about separation. Okay? Black Lives Matter was about, and again, this goes really deep. Black Lives Matter is forcing non-blacks to look at themselves and go, "Gosh, you know what? I'm judging blacks," and then you feel insecure about your own, say, race, color, identity of who you are. Right? You start to get confused of who you are. So it's not about saving blacks. It's not about freedom for the blacks. The blacks, right? The African Americans, whatever you want to label yourself, I don't care. Right? Um, the African Americans, black people, whatever it is, whatever you want to call yourself, however you define yourself, right? What do? You hold on to this identity of being a victim. That's all Black Lives Matter. The whole propaganda behind that propaganda, being Hippocratic, right, is about, yeah, you know what? We've been slaves all these years, all these centuries. Well, first of all, you guys put yourself into slavery, right? Tribes, in between tribes, even before the white man came about. We're getting way too deep. Even before the white man came about, by the way, you used to enslave your own people, your own color. The white man just took advantage of what your Hippocratic, say, pattern was. Simple as that. People who start to move away from there. Have you ever noticed this, by the way? People who, say, see the pattern, the Hippocratic pattern, and who are advantageous, not in a good way, they'll start to use that same pattern against you. That's what happened to the blacks and slavery, you know, expansive slavery. It just starts to magnify. And now you're running a victim. So you went from a pattern of being slaves into victims. Again, no offense, guys, but fuck, shape up. Okay. Be the humans that you are. And you'll start to rise above that pattern where, again, that whoever started this propaganda, Black Lives Matter, they're putting you into this cubicle, an identity of who you are. It does not help you. You become a hypocrite to your own race in this case. And then the white people go, gosh, you know what? Black lives do matter. You lose your identity of who you are. Again, it doesn't really work out. The Me Too movement, right? All these women who've got fucked up patterns, they've been abused, they're victims, they're victimhood. And it's like that person did it to me and that we hate men now. That's bullshit. No, what patterns are you running that you've created a victim out of yourselves? Right? And it's like, well, women back in the day were treated this way and that way. Long, long time ago, women ruled the planet. They fucked up. Men took over. They fucked up too. Now you're fighting against each other. Be the best of who you could be. Get rid of the victimhood patterns. Right? Both men think that they're victims against women. Right? Women victimize themselves. Look at all the say unhappy husbands that are out there. Fuck. And then the women go, gosh, it's the men's problem. The men go, it's the women's problem. No, it's your problem. You're running these deep ass patterns that screw you over. Again, go inside and go, hey, what is it in me that's allowing this Me Too movement, the woke movement, the same thing? It's like, oh, I'm just this pure person. And whoever doesn't follow these aspects of what I think a pure person is, or somebody that's woke, then you're the bad person. You're making me feel bad and you should change. Doesn't work out that way. Again, that's being Hippocratic, right? What you want to do in that case, again, there's many other movements that are out there. What you want to do in that case, religious movements, right? You're not my religion, therefore you're a bad person. Again, that's being Hippocratic, because what do they say in religion? All people are created equal. No judgment. But what are you doing, right? Again, government mechanisms, religious mechanisms, corporate mechanisms, all those individuals, people who are really nice people, right? What do? They go, that person's not nice. Just be nice. Just emanate being truly kind to people at a very deep level. Not because you have ulterior motives, to be truly kind to people, right? Help them ascend to a higher level of frequency. That's what being truly kind is. Right? Most people who are really kind, they're fucked up, they're messed up. It's like, well, I'm going to be kind to that person, or I'm going to donate, or I'm going to help my time because I'm a fucked up person. I need to feel good inside to help somebody who is lesser than me. So if you're really true, you'd go, God, that person, that human is at the same frequency, not at the same frequency of what they could be, right? Everybody has that same potential. All right. Science. Again, science, intellect. If it's a new concept, what is this? Self-improvement, religions, medical societies, right? If it doesn't work, it's your problem. In medical, it's like, well, you've got mental issues. That's why the drug didn't work or the therapy didn't work, in psychology and so on like that. No, you just didn't get to the deeper level. Again, those are all Hippocratic or gaslighting signs. Right? It's your issue. It's your problem. Science. If it's a new concept, it's out of their understanding or threatening to them, like XI, it's threatening to a lot of science. I went to Cambridge University, which is kind of interesting. They came forward and they wanted to study my abilities, and we started talking. And I could just feel it. I could just feel it. It's like, fuck, they're getting insecure. They had the sleep study. I don't know how long, it's been for decades. They're, sleep study. And I told them, it's like, oh yeah, there's a lot of people who have really like deep level sleep problems, and they've recovered in a very short time. So they became very, very insecure because their whole idea of who they are, and gaslighting, their whole idea of who they are is like would totally get destroyed. All their knowledge, all their experiences, everything would get destroyed because again, a new solution, a better solution has come forth. Again, frequencies. I can help transform people who've been crazily, hey, sleep deprived in a very, very short period of time. Again, I don't claim to cure anybody. I just claim to awaken those individuals, a whole different, say, science field that they didn't look at. So Cambridge University being the top university or research center on the latest thing, they're not. They're not into that latest and greatest thing. A lot of universities are like that, right? Stanford, other universities, it's like they approach me. It's like, gosh, you know what? We want to do a study on your abilities, but you know what? It's going to cost you about half a million to millions of dollars to go do this research grant. Well, I'm looking at, isn't that Hippocratic? I'm looking at it, it's like shit. So you want me to pay you, million or so dollars to prove that my abilities are good? Well, if I'm giving you $1 million, no matter what, say the outcome would be, wouldn't you favor me? Because it's like, gosh, you know what? We need another $1 million to keep continuing. Or, it's just like you're getting suckered in, and I'm going, well, what the fuck? Right? Again, all those ideas or concepts, research, very Hippocratic, by the way. I'm just putting it out there, guys. Government and media, we want to do the best for you. This is for your own good. How many of you heard that? Right? Your parents, government, media. We want to take care of you. So we want to fuck you over. Although there's no studies behind anything. So, so gaslighting, the XI definition. Wow, getting late. You're running a filter or a frequency. Right? You realize it, but then you don't know how to change, or you won't change. So you hold on to your old paradigm. You know that there's something better for you out there, but you just won't accept it because you're outdated. Your frequency is outdated. You can't accept it. Simple as that. Right? So what do? You force others to accept you the way you are. People who are, Jesus Christ, people who are gay, lesbian, LGBT, XYZ, whatever definitions you call yourselves. Again, there's nothing wrong with that if you own it. But most people, even heterosexuals, they don't own themselves. And then you force other people to love you the way you are. Well, shit, you hate yourself the way you are. Why would other people love you the way you are? And then other people are bad for you. That's being Hippocratic, guys. We gotta get rid of all that bullshit. Right? Again, so overcoming hypocrisy. Again, we've talked about the parents, right? They want to do the best thing for you, but then they sacrifice themselves for you to be the best thing. It's like, you owe me. It never works out. We talked about religion, right? Gosh, bringing out truth, even for me, being Hippocratic. When I was being harassed by this lady who's long gone now, over the past, past 7 years, actually, being harassed. You can still see some, bullshit on the internet about me, right? Again, untrue. I'd be on, I'd get invited, I'd get invited to Wisdom 2.0, some of the other things. Recently, what was it? The Shift Network, right? Came up, and it's like, gosh, we're really excited about what you do and so on like that, right? They want the Shift Network, right? The wisdom beyond the current standards and so on. And then they know all that stuff is not true. That's on the internet, right? About me. It's all bullshit because it's so easy to write a lot of things, right? Especially nowadays about people. How many of you gotten destroyed? We've gotten stronger, by the way, and we're going to do some hyper meditations to help you become highly successful despite the harassment. Whenever you become successful, which is really crazy, people want everybody to be happy and everything, but when you become successful, what do? They try to destroy you. Do your families destroy you? Does your spouse get jealous and envious of you, right, as you go higher? It's crazy, right? Well, or your kids become better than you are, and then what do? He's tried to destroy them. It's kind of crazy, right? Anyway, Shift Network, all these individuals just, God, we're really interested. We really want to come together with you and all that. But then what happens is, they see the new, sometimes they look at some of the bullshit that's on the internet and they go, oh, you know what? We know it's not real. We know that's bullshit. We know, because, they've been harassed that way too. But you know what, Moss? We don't want to deal with it. It's too much for us. Well, you're the fucking Shift Network. This is what you have to stand for, what you believe in. How many of you don't stand for what you believe in, although you speak really good about it? Right? You're just a politician. Simple as that. You speak from both sides of your mouth. You literally are a politician. Are you doing that at a personal level? Right? That's where it all begins. You got to let go of that. Right? You say what you mean. If you don't mean it, then don't say it. Me, I'm the same person on screen as I am back screen. I don't change. There's a lot of I could name names. I'm not. Let's just say there's a lot of high level people, okay, that their image, their persona on stage is very different than their persona off stage. And these are self improvement gurus, by the way, highly acclaimed gurus. They might have that talent to help you become successful, but as far as a person, they're fucked up. Totally fucked up, right? So a lot of religions, the governments, they have to start a war for peace to happen. Doesn't work out that way. Advanced societies, despite the advancement in society, no one's healthy and no one's happy. That really advanced societies, right? Your technology is advanced. Your consciousness hasn't. In fact, Ray Kurzweil, singularity. Look it up. Right? People are dumbing themselves down. Technology is rising. There's a point, and we've passed that point, by the way, with the introduction of AI. Where again technology advances beyond human consciousness. Again, that is being Hippocratic. Technology is supposed to create a support mechanism for humanity to ascend to a higher level, to a higher state. That's why if you're an alien looking at this technology here, it's like, fuck, their technology is destroying themselves. It's happened before. Cultures, other civilizations, they've destroyed themselves with their technology. So is that really advanced technology? Again, all those are deep level patterns of being Hippocratic, gaslighting. It's like, no, this is what we need. No, you don't need that. We need to wake up and back up and observe what's happening and then rise to a higher level of consciousness through becoming exponentially intelligent. And that's where your higher self comes into play. And then you're singular. You're not one or the other. You're just neutral. You're in that space, and then you mastered both sides. Today's 18 human update, the 18 days, right? That's what it's really all about. So it's about integrity, real deep levels of integrity. So reclaiming your sovereignty, right? The only way to do that, just like Jesus said, the only way to do that is to awaken who you are. Awaken who you are at your highest level. Okay? Get rid of all the bullshits, all the belief systems, all the ideas of who you are at a physical level, and go into your higher state of being. Always observe yourself. You're an honorable being. You're a pure essence. You're pure possibilities. Every situation that you're in, are you doing it from that pure possibility of who you are, your spirit level, right? Or are you doing it from your mundane human level? So that's a dichotomy, again, being a hypocrite. Once you start to transfer yourself over into your real identity of who you are, not your physical form, you start to become one. You start to become singular. You start to have integrity. This is where you stop being a hypocrite. Right? This is where you don't have to create excuses for who you are, because you love yourself for who you are. because you're expanding into the brilliant possibilities that time and space allow you to have. All right. Yep. Yeah. So we're all. So again, kind of went. See, I think that's what we needed to hear, at least from my point of view. So a lot of things coming up, guys, for you to become exponentially intelligent. A lot of you are asking for Burning Man. Burning Man the tickets started opening up. It's for those who want to go to Burning Man. We're in a camp. The camp is full. It's really a great camp. But if you want to go to Burning Man, I mean, we're going to be there. You have to provide your own access to it. So go to I don't know what you'd have to go to Burning Man, or you have to sign up, and then they allow you access to um, yeah, they allow you access to buy tickets, and then they release the ticket times. Okay. And then next time around, I guess whenever they release the ticket time, we already got our tickets. We created that, um, but we'll let you know when the next say ticket release is. But again, you'd have to go and sign up, and maybe the team, Feifei, if you can send them that link that they sent us to sign up for Burning Man, if the team can put it on there, right? So you can log in. So you're on the waiting list for them, right? It's like buying concert tickets, right? There's a certain date time, and then they release it, and then whoever gets in buys those tickets. So, all right, guys. Um, all right. Let's see. Oh, South Africa. South Africa, that's coming up. I know it's in 2025, but you want to reserve because it's very limited, because of the safari experience. Okay, so we're keeping it to a small group of individuals. So you want to take your opportunity. And this event, by the way, the safari that we're going on gets sold out years ahead. So we're lucky that it's only 18 months, and they're still allowing us to go in there. All right. Yep. Yeah, and if you missed the live info call, we've got that. I don't know where the link is, but if you go to, was it Worldly Wealth, Universal Wisdom? That's what we're going to get into. Oh, it went black. Okay, hold on, guys. Something happened in my camera. Dang it. All right, we're back. Are we good? All right. So we got Burning Man coming up. Oh, I'll be, be in Barcelona. Really cool event. Uh, my talk is going to be, we'll put it on the website for you. My talk is going to be about AI, XI, and aliens. Right? It's going to be really a cool talk. It's in Barcelona. So, if you're that European group that are exponentially intelligent, it's a beautiful city out there. I've been there before. Gorgeous. It's close enough for everybody, in a European country. So, come on out. Come on out, visit me. The details will be on the website, or they can send it out for you as well. Also, let's see what else is there. Oh, there's going to be a cruise coming up in September. So we've got a lot of things. We've got Barcelona in June. We've got Burning Man in August, and then right after Burning Man, we've got the cruise. It's going to be the cruise is going to be in, God, so many places in Alaska. It's really, really beautiful, guys. Okay. All right, let's move on. Was that it, Demi? All right. Yeah. Yeah. We're ending the we're kind of in the last few days of the human upgrade pattern. However, you can still purchase the recordings. If you're new, that's really the best way to start. And if you're new, do not take the both the self-actualization series. If you're new, you just want to take the self-healing series. No matter how adept or how successful you've been in the past, it's very, very different. It's a very different paradigm. Okay. So again, if you're new, just take Again, the essential or the self healing course initially, right? Very, very important. So you have a strong foundation, right? Sure, we make money if you bought both, but again, this is about money. This is about ascending consciousness to a higher level. So I'm just telling you what's best for you. All right. All right. Alaska sounds beautiful. Let's go ahead and just read, scan some people, and tell you exactly where you are, tell you where, if you're being Hippocratic or not. Is a passport required for the cruise? Really good question. If the team can answer that, I don't think it is because you're going to Alaska. Yeah, I think that it's on the website, by the way. Okay. All right. Can we come to Canada? Absolutely. We're thinking of coming to Canada. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Some of you who are becoming exponentially intelligent, you're starting your own series, even the 18 days, whatever it might be, guys. Again, for your own benefit. Okay. I know a lot of you come into your own abilities, which is really beautiful. Again, really fantastic. I congratulate you. But for your own benefit, you want to pick clients outside of the XI family, right? Because what'll happen is a lot of people, uh, they might be at the same level or sometimes a lot higher than you. Okay. Obviously, there's new people, but you want to start picking your own clients because they'll they'll compare you to the frequencies that I generate for you. And since you're like new, so to speak, your frequencies may not feel as a proportional or as advanced. So again, those people who are starting to become healers, starting to become whatever meditators, whatever you want to call yourself, again, whatever it is, you want to help people. You want to start picking on your own audience or creating that audience for yourself. It'll help you become more successful because your frequencies are a lot higher than those individuals who are just starting out with XI. That way we can support you as well. Okay. That's just a note for you. All right. Jewel, scan please. Sure. So there's something about you and your identity. By the way, I'm not a doctor, so if I tell you any medical advice, do your own research on it. Anyway, and if you choose to be scanned, guys, it's a public forum, so obviously other people are going to listen in. The private, you want a private scan, so don't ask us to go, hey, you scanned me, take that off. We won't take it off. Okay, just do a private scan for you. Anyway, so for you, Jewel, take a breath in. So there's something about your identity. You're always trying. It's like you're always trying to be this woman. Okay, yeah, but then, you know this is where people might have grown up, with a lot of boys around. You might have had a lot of brothers, but you have that masculine frequency. But then you're always trying to walk away from that. Does that make sense? And then you attract masculinity around you. But the good thing where you are is like you're actually starting to see the deeper nuances of you're starting to see the deeper nuances, again, becoming exponentially intelligent, of what a feminine frequency really is. Despite your physical despite your physical platform, okay, your physical genetic patterns, frequency wise, you're starting to see what, say, a human feminine is, and then a human masculine is. Okay? Outside of the physicalness, because again, the world has gotten, say, disoriented or distorted on the physical representation of that. It's because of the frequencies above. It's not that you are Jew, but again, you're really defining and you're actually embracing who you are as a feminine, which is really great. So congratulations. This helps you define, because in this case, say they became super successful, right? A millionaire, billionaire, whatever. What would happen is you would come into, say, a highly masculine pattern, and then you'd lose yourself. This is where also, success patterns for especially women who run these types of patterns, the more success that they have, the more masculine they get, they lose their identity. So now you're doing it properly. So what I was helping you with quickly was literally creating this identity of what it is to be a strong feminine, which allows you to become a strong, other people around you to become a strong masculine. Okay? At least a lot. As a note, I'm not a psychic in any way. Psychics couldn't do this. Psychics would have to tune into your age, a picture of you, your real name, whatever. It doesn't matter. Again, this is basically tapping into an IP address or your frequency and going, oh, you're running this type of frequency. So, Lisa, camera turn off again? Wow, really weird. All right, guys, give me a second. I don't know why. I think it's the battery pack. I gotta fix it. Is that better? Okay. So, Lisa, so take a breath in, Lisa. You are a supporter of your spouse, and what you're doing now, which is really fantastic, is so you've always been a supporter of somebody, especially say of a male pattern. Okay. So what's happening now for you, which is really good. Um, Guys, so sorry, guys. Let's see here. I think my battery is dying, so I have to replace that battery. Anyway, so what you're doing, Lisa, which is really good, you can support people but not lose your identity. So you're coming into your own strength and you're supporting or helping people without losing your own identity, which is really fantastic for you. So congratulations on that. So take a deep breath in. Let's do that. Help you a bit more. At first, initially, you might like push people away that you supported. You might hate people and so on because you've lost yourself supporting people. How many people do that, by the way? Right? So take a deep breath in. This is where you can do both. You don't have to do one or the other. And that's really the key. Okay? So that's what you're getting into, which is really great. By the way, as I scan one individual or work on one individual, I'll be working on the rest of you as well who run those patterns. This is Mel. Uh, DOSANJ. My fear keeps coming back. Scan, please. Yes. So in this case, if you want to release fear, fear is very, very deep. It's part of your pattern. And it takes a little longer. And the reason why it takes a little longer on your computer, you're always using fear, fear, victim mode, so to speak. Those kind of patterns. It's like deleting a program off your computer, but you're using the program to delete the program that you want to remove. So it's really hard, right? Because literally you'd have to like, close the program down so you can completely delete it is the key. So fear, it takes a little longer. So the way to do that, because you're still operating out of fear, is basically what's happening for you now, Mel, is that you're actually separating yourself from, say, that program, right? You're separating yourself from that identity. So what's happening is like you're pushing it away from you and you're seeing fear from an outside perspective. Okay. It's not an internal dialogue anymore from you. Take a deep breath in, and I'll give you an example of that. And again, all of you, we all run at some levels of fear. So we can use fear as an ally rather than an enemy. What happens in this case is that you're separating it from it, you're seeing the fear, and then it's like, oh shit. And then you pull it back in. So it's the cycle that you need to release, right? So you're doing a great job, again, separating your identity of fear, but then you're pulling it back in. So take a deep breath in. We'll do a quick visual for you. All right. Okay. So in this scenario, you used to run patterns of fear inside you. Your identity was based on fear, again, inside you. Okay. All right. Take a breath in. Now you're watching a movie of somebody who's running the same pattern as you did of fear. Right? It could be a scary movie, whatever it is. And then what you're doing is like you're watching this movie now. Again, it's a separation of your fear. But then you go, that's me. And then you pull it back in. Right? Then you start to re-embrace it. So what you want to do is when you start to see the fear and the actions that you create having that fear, you go, oh yeah, study that pattern. Study how it distorted you rather than embracing it. And then as you notice again the distortions, you go, gosh, you know what? I don't need that anymore. So you start to study it and you start to whittle away at the little pieces that are still holding on to you. Okay? So observe it. Don't embrace it. Start to go, oh yeah, that was me. So you start to psychologically or mentally go, that was me. I was running that pattern. So your mind or your consciousness, your higher self goes, oh, that was the old version of her. Got it? It's like, oh, she wants to separate. And then you keep asking, it's like, what do I need to do to keep separating like that? Okay. Again, watch your emotions, whether it's fear, whether it's like messed up love definitions, whether it's like guilt. If you're getting into a lot of guilt is wrapped around you as well. It's like, shit, you know what? If I go into my fearless state and explore and enjoy my life, then, you know, what is my spouse or what is my family going to do? And again, you get sucked into that space. So, you know, guilt, shame, and fear are all wrapped up. Those three things, religions use that quite a bit. Unfortunately, again, very Hippocratic, right? All right. Can I get a birthday scan, please? This is Momina Safi. Yes. So for you, and again, this is where, you know, whether it's culture or whether it's religion or it could be both, it's just a magnifier about everything for you, Momina. You don't need all that stuff. So what you're doing is you're peeling away your identity, and although you might be an older individual, you feel like you're a younger person. So at some level you got stuck, say in your mid to late teens. It's like you saw that you were morphing into, say, your family, and you go, shit, I don't want that. I love them and so on. People have that issue, you know, when they love their family, it doesn't mean that you have to morph into your family. You can love your family, use it as a great platform, and then move forward. Simple as that. But most people go, well, I love my family, therefore I need to turn into my family. So Mumina, what you're doing, which is really fantastic, is like, gosh, you know what? I love my family, but I need to be me. Right? So you can do both, which is really, again, Hippocratic, another example of hypocrisy. It's like your family wants to be your best. They want you to move forward and move on, but then they want you to be just like them. Well, it worked. It didn't work for them. Why would it work for you, right? So hold on to the nice platform, endear your family in the proper way, learn what worked, learn what didn't, and then that creates a strong platform for you to ascend higher. That's what that way, you know, societies doesn't have to repeat the pattern. Um, thank you for these mechanics of fear, guilt, shame. Absolutely, watch those three guys. It's really and watch how society uses that. By the way, right? Religions, political systems, media, governments. Maybe you used it on your kids. Maybe your parents used it on you. Right? Let's see here. This is really good. Heather Shannon, in the Bible, God says, "Be not afraid," over 800 times. Okay. Unfortunately, really, damn. Oh, okay, guys. Sorry about the camera, guys. Kind of crazy. Yeah, I have to replace that battery. So, as we end, guys. Um, so as we end, again, the Bible says, "Be not afraid," 800 times. Other religions say it as well. You know, the hypocrisy behind that is like, what? You have a fear of God. Let the fear of God be instilled within you. It's like, what the hell, right? It's like, well, as a kid going to church, you know, listening to this shit, it's like, well, wait a second, you know, the preacher is telling me this, the Bible is telling me this. It's like, which way do I go? and then again it puts you in a state of flux where you don't know, where you don't go anywhere, and you literally cycle downwards. It's like drilling yourself into a hole, because both aspects, right? And nowadays in science, they say meditation is bad, eating fruits is bad, whatever, until science approves it. So you don't know which way to go. You lose your identity or your sense of reference of who you are. And again, it just drills you into, it just like pounds you into a hole. You want to get away from that, right? You want a spatial reference, by the way. One last scan. This one, tell us what Jesus would say to this. I'm not exactly what you're referring to. So let's see. This is Linda Camarage. Scan me, please. Yes. So Linda, so you, and you just want to ask once, huh? So anyways, for you, Linda, take a breath in. So you're really, really, well, desperate. One, you're at a point, you're literally, I think you're kind of new to XI, but what XI has done for you is that you're at a point where, back in the day, take a breath in, Linda. Back in the day, there was so much vibrancy in you, okay? And as a young girl, it seems that you couldn't experience the vibrancy that you felt. It's like you were so full of joy, but then situations, your mom, whoever, just kept suppressing you. I think religion actually kept suppressing you, to be a good girl, so to speak, that kind of deal. So what would happen for you, Linda? Yeah, what would happen is like that possibilities, or that brilliance of possibilities, is it kind of got shut down. So now you've got introduced to XI, and it's like, gosh, I remember those possibilities. I can be those possibilities. So you're so ready for it to go, woohoo! It's time to come into that space. It's time for me to actually realize that, which is really great. So take a deep breath in, Linda. Congratulations, hon. There we go. Let's allow you to open that door. How many of you all, as a child, it's like you saw the possibilities and then you got shut down, and now you're starting to realize the possibilities, right? That's what's happening in the world, by the way. Breath in. XI is literally the signs of opening up or reopening up those possibilities. So for you, Linda, you're not going to give a damn about a lot of things. You're just going to go, you know what? I missed out the first time. So keep doing the work, doing the human upgrade. If you're not on it, okay, do that, and also do or redo it because it's ending. So as soon as it finishes, redo it if you're doing it already, and that'll give you that perpetual motion to keep you opening that space. Some of you, again, who've been shut down before, you're getting a second chance on life on this XI journey. Guys, take it. Don't let anybody stop you. Right? Just go forward. Right? Yes, it's all the time as a kid. Yeah. So again, just like Julia, guys, go back to your child's like self. Be explorative. All right, guys, reclaim yourself. All right. It's great having you all. Thanks for being here. Notice what you notice. Notice the details of what you're noticing. All right. Peace.